All right, welcome everyone. This is Cubs on Tap, the official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sportsnet Network. I'm your host, Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. You can follow Juice, my guy here, at Juice on Tap. What's going on, man?
Nothing. Scoring runs again. How nice
Scoring
is that?
runs. Yeah, you're right. Dude, the Cubs went
36 in 4 games.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Close?
I don't math much, but yeah, I mean, they scored 13 on Saturday, and then scored 4 on Sunday. Had an off day Monday. Yeah, you were at that. I was at the good one Saturday. You were at the bad one.
Yeah.
Sunday. Ron was at the good one tonight. And I'm going to be there tomorrow.
There you go.
And I'm going to be there Saturday with Ron.
Jesus, might as well just get a season ticket.
Dude, I'm on the list. I'm on the list.
There you
go. I want season tickets so bad. Anyway, the Cubs went 16-4 tonight. But did you? If I would have told you the Cubs were going to score 16 runs, like I don't know, like a week and a half ago, if I told you it was going to happen, like in like a week, would you believe me?
I would have asked if they played 5 games that day. That's what I would have. And even that probably wouldn't have been enough.
Right.
It's good to see, good to see, we're looking at the box score before we got on here, and you're looking at some crooked numbers, and you're looking at some numbers that are other than zeros or goose eggs next to players. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see. I'll say this. I want to see more of it, more consistency of it too. I thought that Sunday's game, and I mean, just going back, being at Sunday's game, let me make 3 comments on that. I thought that, they did some good things, and I thought the offense wasn't something that, screwed up as much as the bad start by Hendricks. But let me just say that going to Wrigley Field during a pandemic is so choice.
I know, right?
Choice. No bathroom lines, no. I mean, I maybe had 2 people in front of me to get a beer.
No lines, man. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, so choice.
Yeah.
Choice.
I especially like when you're getting me and you were like 29, right?
Yeah.
29, 30 years old.
Yeah.
So like in our younger years, you kind of like whatever about everything, like in your early 20s. But when you get to our age, we're just like, we want to go and like not be surrounded by a ton of people and like just not have to stand in line, to go to the bathroom even. Don't have to do that during the pandemic. It's actually really awesome. But I completely agree, man. But tonight, man, the Cubs offense was so good that Javi Baez decided to even bat left-handed. So I think that explains everything. I mean, we could just end the podcast there because there's not much to say. The Mets were the Mets, and the Cubs bats woke up. And I feel like the Cubs bats have woken up a little bit over the since Saturday, honestly. And last night's win, the 3-1 win or whatever, no one hit really, but it was just like tonight, which is kind of like weird that they scored 16 runs. But I thought the Cubs just they manufacture runs. My arm hair was straight up, man. Like I was happy to see it. And then Javi hits the grand slam. I thought this was probably his best game of the year, honestly, if you consider all the bats he had. The first play appearance he hit a liner right at someone. I think he was hit by a pitch later in the game, and I don't think he struck out tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he struck out tonight.
Not that I remember. Like I said, there's so much in this game tonight to unravel. We're not going to be able to unravel all of it, but
Garrett from Iowa. Garrett from Iowa. Shout out to you, man. Sliding in the comments as we are live right now. He says, bought a Javi shirt today and tweeted that I believe in him and he came through. Let's fucking go. I love to see that. I honestly do. And I'll admit, man, I've been slandering Javi Baez on the internet for like 2 weeks because he's just been unbearable to watch. But tonight, I will give credit where it's due. And if he would have hit a tank on that left-handed bat that he had, I would have apologized. The only reason I'm not apologizing is like, okay, now I need to see some consistently. Like, I'm not asking you to hit a grand slam every day, but I'm asking you to give me, production, decent production, consistent production on offense. So we'll see what goes from here, man.
Yeah, he's such a big part of that lineup too, and he's going well. We were talking last week about Javi Baez, and I had mentioned that he's so bad for so long, but there's going to be a month where he carries you. He's going to have a month where he hits 8 home runs and drives in a bunch of runs, and it has a good month. But with that said, it was good to see him finally be able to turn on one. It's been a while since we've seen that swing, and I don't know if I believe he's fully back yet. I'm always skeptical on him because obviously it's good to see him go yard tonight, but the pitch was like tailor-made to be hit out for his cut. And the Mets pitching staff wasn't anything to write home about tonight. Let's be honest. With that said, you got to play the games, you got to score the runs. So, I was happy with what they did. But it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, they came out, they got a dub. Props to Alec Mills for saving the bullpen for a lot of it. He's like the unsung hero, I think, of the night. I don't think he's going to get a lot of dap around, the Twitter sphere, but he's saving that bullpen as the Cubs. They got a decent stretch coming up. Right, they're going to need those arms healthy and rested
for sure. Our guy Baseball Bougie's always in the comments. Shout out to him. He left another one. He said, "Cut that 48% K rate in half for Javi." Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Give us something we can work with, even before 18, 16, 17, he at least, had an approach that you could live with. We've talked about it at depth. So again, tonight is awesome. Great. He deserves a lot of credit, and it's probably huge for his confidence. No doubt. Huge for his confidence. But I need to see it for a nice stretch here so I can, start to, think that, okay, he's coming back to form. He's figured it out what pitchers are doing. Maybe he's not guessing anymore. So I was going through the box score, man, and the only position player who did not have a hit tonight was Austin Romine, and he didn't even have an at bat. At least, he didn't even have a qualified at bat. So I think that says everything. We Ian Happ had a hit. Wilson Contreras 2 hits. Matt Duffy had 3 hits. He had a huge night tonight. He had more hits than anyone else did, actually. David Bodie 2 hits. We mentioned Baez. He only had the grand slam, but he did, have 3 runs scored. So he was on base. Rizzo a hit. Bryant a hit. Baez, Rizzo, and Bryant each had 3 runs scored. It's just everything across the board, man. Even Jake Marisnik had a nice double. I think they kind of talked about at the beginning of the game, the heavy right-handed batters in the lineup because they're facing a lefty. You know how they struggled against the lefties last year. I think that they found their lineup against the lefties, at least for the foreseeable future. To be completely honest with you, I when they put the lineup out, I didn't exactly like it because I didn't like Javi batting 5th. But they showed me tonight, so what do I know? I'm just a stupid fan yelling on Twitter about shit. So, yeah, man. Just a good overall team effort from the offense. And I think Zach Davies, I was kind of worried about him at first, but after the Cubs scored a bunch of runs, he kind of was able to,
get through 4.
Get through 4. I don't know. I guess he might be the only, still kind of I don't know type thing. I tweeted something earlier, and our guy DJ, aka DJ Mustard, he replied to one of my tweets, and he's a White Sox fan, whatever. I don't care, but he put some Fangraphs stats in there about Zach Davies and how he's kind of overachieved over the last couple of years. I think the hard contact is kind of a thing with him right now. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I can see that. I think when you look at it, the back end of this rotation, you kind of start to, and I think that's where he's kind of moving to. You start to get some question marks, but I think the good news is it's not as backloaded as we thought we were, because we've gotten some good starts out of Jake. I think Kyle's going to end up being Kyle, right. After. But with that said, you still got Alzolay, who's, he's kind of the big what if. What's the future for him? He's got a lot of talent, but he's going to have to harness that in. And Williams is obviously you don't know what you're getting on a night to night either.
Mm-hmm.
So while you thought there was 4 that were really question mark, at least one of them is putting up some good numbers, and that's Arrieta. So with that said, it's I wonder if it's a matter of time before Alec Mills is back in that rotation. And I mean, I don't want to say he's had some rough goes over the last couple, and tonight was like the first one where it looked like he was back to being Alec Mills. But I just wonder how long they go with some of these guys. I mean, I think Adbert they're going to try to see as much as they can, but I mean, who's to say that Davies or Trevor Williams isn't coming out of the bullpen eventually too. If Williams or if Alec Mills can keep pounding that strike zone, that's the good thing about having 6 arms like that. It's you can start to move some guys around if you need be. But I mean, for tonight, the only thing to complain about, he didn't really have his stuff. He battled through 4, and we would have been doing this podcast or live stream a lot earlier if it weren't for Shelby Miller needing to get in there. I don't know if he won a contest or something where he gets to pitch the 9th, but that guy is just not an MLB player anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's just eating up innings, but in these innings, a guy for a position player pitched for the Mets today. So you could be on that side. We could have been watching Anthony Rizzo pitch tonight, but we're not. That's a good thing. We're watching Javi Bat lefty, and that's always a good thing, like you said earlier.
Right. Yeah, I mentioned Shelby Miller. He just pitched that 9th inning, gave up 2 hits. I mean, he didn't give up any runs, so maybe, I mean, I still don't have faith in him coming in any game that matters, but, Shelby Miller was a guy that the Cubs were kind of high on in spring training because he pitched well, but it has not been good.
No,
I don't really know
fix me project so far.
Yeah, it's and the thing is the Cubs have hit on some and they haven't hit on some. The thing is they always sign a large handful of them and then let Jesus take the wheel, honestly.
Yeah, for every Trevor Cahill, there's a Joe Nathan. That's it. You don't even remember that he pitched for 2 games or whatever.
In like 3 months, if he's not on the roster, we'll be like, oh, remember Shelby Miller, Cubs legend.
Yeah, right. But no, it's good to get a win. They're playing decent baseball right now. Hopefully tomorrow when you go, they can go and get the sweep. And especially no DeGrom, which I thought was a huge break for them when they announced at the beginning of the series. This is one of those that you looked at, you're like, man, what a tough stretch they got here, and now you're looking at sweeping the series. So good for them.
Before we move to tomorrow's game, I want to go back to what you were talking about, Alec Mills. The only thing that kind of questions me is like you already got like 2 soft tossers like Hendricks and Davies in there. And I think we kind of saw last year, like Hendricks was obviously great last year, but when Mills would start before him, it was almost like it just wasn't good. Like it didn't help Hendricks, I guess.
Sure.
And a lot of it is just because they're very similar pitchers, you know what I mean? And there's just nowhere else you can really put Mills if you put him in there. Because Trevor Williams has been solid.
Been okay. Yeah.
He's been solid. He had 1 bad start in Pittsburgh, but his 2 home starts, he's been great. And you mentioned Jake, he's been good, so you're not going to take him out of the 2 spot. Hendricks, he's gonna be Kyle Hendricks, he's gonna be your number 1. So that leaves Davies and then Aber Alzolay. And Alzolay was good in his last start in Milwaukee, and if the Cubs would have scored runs, who knows? He might have got he deserved to win that day.
Right.
So I'm not ready to like give up on him yet.
And neither am I. I see how Alec pitches, and I'm starting to, I wonder if this is a down the line type thing. Even if, let's say in a hypothetical world that the Cubs are kind of middling around 500, maybe one of those guys is attractive to somebody else. And, maybe you get a second half worth of Alec Mills just because, they're sitting in the middle there and they find an offer for Davies, which, I mean, at this point you couldn't get much, but, or maybe I hate to say it, maybe you pull a trigger depending on how far you out of it on a deal for, Kyle Hendricks, if you're really trying to bolster the farm, and that's the route they want to go. Obviously, I'm not. That's not something I would support, but it's something that
a lot of stuff that we just don't know.
We just don't know yet.
But there is a lot of option. Last night when I was talking to Ron, I was like, Jake, he's also helping his trade stock. Like there's an option on his contract, but I mean, which could also actually kind of help the Cubs if he's really good. Then the team that trades for him, you can use that as leverage to get more back because they can get him for another year. But again, there's still so much baseball left to really find out what's going to happen. So I don't want to harp on it too much, but.
Celebrate the win. No, that's what we should be doing. I good for Javi tonight. Chris stays hot. I think Anthony Rizzo put together a lot of good at bats tonight. It's just I wonder too, like if you mentioned Duffy having 3 hits. If he could start stringing some things together with Jock's struggles, I wonder if you start to see Chris Bryant more often in the outfield. That's another thing that
he had a nice night out there, even defensively, a nice sliding catch tonight. He had I know it was early in the game, either second or third inning. There was a ball hit down the first base line, like scorched, and Bryant got to it quickly and held that guy to a single. That's not something you see in the stat sheet or anything like that. That's just, I mean, that's stuff we've been seeing from Jason Hayward for a long time. So, not saying that we need to be playing Chris Bryant in right field over Jason Hayward, even though offensively, he's playing way better than Jason Hayward is right now. But, I mean, Bryant's proven that he maybe, in his offseason, he worked on some things in the outfield. I don't know, but tonight he looked pretty good out there. And, I've never said he was elite out there. I always said he was serviceable, average outfielder. And it's all based off athleticism and, just baseball IQ, I feel like. So, I do like the idea of it, especially, when Nico Horner's called up later in the season. And, if David Bodie stays hot like he's been this week, then you can maybe play him at third, put Nico at second, or, do different lineup situations. You know what I mean? So there's just so many scenarios. I mean, that's been one of the nice things about this Cubs era, this era of Cubs baseball, has been, I don't want to say depth because I feel like this team doesn't have a ton of depth, but they have a lot of versatile guys.
Yeah, the ability to play everybody everywhere. I think that's, and I mean, good teams are able to do that too. I mean, the teams that win the World Series, I think they have at least one of those guys who moves around the diamond. But it's just something to look on for the future. Like you said, Nico Horner, I even forgot about, kicking Bodie over to third there when you mentioned that. And, maybe Jock Peterson, while he's struggling, is a movable piece for an AL team that needs a DH. That's it's who knows, and that's that's the immediate takeaway. And obviously tonight, talking about the win, it's good for them. Good to get out. Good to see the bats. And manufacturing runs. They didn't have an extra base hit in the 7th inning. Was it 5th? Yeah, 7th inning hit. They didn't have an extra base hit. It was all singles and peppering the ball around. That's what you like to see.
Yeah, it was actually the 4th inning, but exactly. They had scored 7 runs in the 4th, and then scored 3 in the 5th, and then 4 more in the 6th, 2 more in the 8th. So, obviously the 4 in the 6th was Javi's grand slam, but other than that, it was just all just like, I feel like the approach this week has been great. Again, I don't want to get into it too much, but you like to see the at-bats ahead tonight. Hopefully they can take that in tomorrow. With that said, I guess we can move into tomorrow's game.
Yeah, ready to go.
Tomorrow, obviously, it's another night game. I will be there with my lady friend, and
you guys are 2-0, right?
Yeah, we're 2-0. We're 2-0 when we attend, and every game that we've been, Trevor Williams is the pitcher, and Trevor Williams is the pitcher tomorrow night too.
Go hang out with his dad. Tell him your story.
I know, right? I know. I need to go find his dad. But Trevor Williams comes in tomorrow's game at 2-1 at the 5.02 ERA, 13 strikeouts. I'm actually kind of surprised by the ERA because he's been pretty solid. But in his last start, he allowed 1 run over 5 innings. Let's see, he struck out 4 and walked 3. And He has a career 5.93 ERA in 10 career games at Wrigley Field. So most of those obviously with the Pirates, but he goes up against, I don't know if you can know this guy at all, but his name is Joey Lucchesi. Lucchesi? Yeah, Lucchesi. It's like
whatever.
I'm going to say Joey Lucchesi.
Joey's pitching tomorrow.
Yeah, Joey's pitching tomorrow. He's 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA, 6 strikeouts. This is his second start of the season, so it's not like he's a consistent starter. Obviously, DeGrom was supposed to start this game, but he wanted an extra day of rest. So I'm kind of thinking maybe tomorrow might be a bullpen day for the Mets, which might be tough considering how tonight went. So I don't know, man. I knowing that much now after reading that, I'm feeling pretty good going into tomorrow's game. Yeah, I mean, if the Mets had to use their bullpen some tonight, and they're hoping that Joey can give them at least 5 innings. I don't know if he will though.
Yeah. Let's hope that the Cubs can work some early counts, even if they don't score early.
Mm-hmm.
Getting some early 3-2s, run up the pitch count, getting deep in that bullpen, and just continue doing what they were doing. Just peppering the ball around, being resourceful at the plate, having a plan. I think the one thing we've kind of seen is in the last 4 games is like the baseball gods kind of smiling down on the Cubs too. It seemed like they were a little snake bit for a while. I had mentioned, I think in a podcast before, that they were the lowest. They had the lowest average for batted balls in play too. I mean, it's a little bit of unluckiness too. So I think a little bit of that's coming back around. Or batting average balls in play. Yeah, there we go. But BIP or whatever they call it. Yeah. Being real nerdy here, and that's not normally who I am. It's good to see, little flares drop in there and, hitting some liners off the feet of pitchers, and it's, going into the outfield. It's good to see. Hopefully, Trevor Williams has a good start tomorrow, can, pull out another dub. I'm excited to see. I'll be on the podcast tomorrow with Ron Luce for the live stream. And I'll get Ron's opinion on, baseball during a pandemic and attending baseball games, because I'm so pro. I think that's how it should be forever. Actually, a little part of me.
He just slid in the comments, man. He just slid in the comments.
I love how he comes. His picture is great with all the Domino's pizzas he's holding too. Love it.
He just says, "Yeah, you will," in caps. That's what
absolutely love it.
Ron's probably hammered on the red line heading back to like. Was he lives in like Oak Lawn, right? Somewhere around there. So
Orland Park.
Orland Park. He lives somewhere with an O. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's an Orland Park guy. Yeah, Orland Park guy, I'm pretty sure.
He says surprisingly sober.
Well, good for him. And he's in the bleachers, so that's
honestly, that should be illegal. Yeah,
right?
He should be arrested for not being drunk after being in the bleachers, and it's 16-4. He says Shivers got rid of the buzz. All right.
There you go. Okay, so he was. Fine. I was gonna say you do have to sit down when you go to Murphy's now too, which I thought was weird.
Really?
Have you been into Murphy's since the pandemic? No, they take it's like table service. It's kind of
really.
Yeah, which I mean is fine. Like I'm okay with it being old, but like the whole idea of Murphy's is being crowded in with 10,000 million people who are there before the bleachers.
Right. Well, it is what it is. It's pandemic.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure people can come in. I'm
all for it, but I just you know how it is. It's just weird when this whole thing is just out of your element. When
right.
I walked in there, I'm expecting to like wait 12 minutes for the bathroom, and I walked right in, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah, pandemic baseball. I'm okay with it. I'm surprisingly okay with
it's fun.
With having a seat in between for my souvenirs and my peanuts, because I had to have my peanuts on Sunday.
Yeah.
Had the extra cup holder for my beers. It was nice.
Yep.
Really nice.
And then you don't have like people next to you because they have it set up. So
which is great because 9 times out of 10 you end up next to some idiot who's from out of town. Who's like, where's the bathroom in here? Well, just walk up, buddy. Walk up. You'll find one.
Right. Godspeed. Yeah. Well, man, before we head out of here, man, you gotta fly the W pick for tomorrow.
I'm going to go with KB. Guy just seems locked in. Seems like every time he's coming up to the plate, he's got a good approach. He's getting down to that 0-2 strike, and he's able to just pepper one out there. I keep saying this should be the pepper episode. I'm telling you right now. But just shorten it up and going with the pitch and going up the middle often. I love it. Love the approach that he's had this year, being real aggressive early. So I'm going to go with KB.
All right, man. Well, as everyone knows, I always take the king, Andrew Chafin. He got me a fly W point last night. I should get a point for him tonight because the Cubs didn't even have to use him because he's that good and the Cubs offense was that good.
Maybe like Shelby Miller can just take like one of his beard hairs and put it in his stock or something before he pitches, or I don't know.
He should just like take Andrew, like when Shelby Miller goes out there, he should just borrow Andrew Chafin's like hat or something, or maybe he's got a handkerchief or something. Andrew Chafin comes off as a handkerchief guy. Like he should just like take whatever, take the lucky whatever Andrew Chafin takes out there and just bring some of that luck with him because he needs it right now.
Yeah, just some sweat. Just have Andrew just roll a little sweat on that pitching arm, and we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
If they find a secondary pitch other than his 95-mile-an-hour heater that just seems to get slapped around.
I did say on last night's pod with Ron that I've started, Andrew Chafin's my guy, but if I had to pick a position player, I think last night I took David Bodie, ended up having a good night tonight. So if I had to pick another one tomorrow, I guess I'm going to roll with Ian Happ, just Fair. Because he was like one of the few, I mean, he had a hit tonight, but I think he just kind of broke out a little bit tonight, I feel like maybe he might do a little bit more tomorrow. So start the game 1-0 before second inning.
That'd be sweet. Get there early, as Cody's saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get there early so we can see hopefully another blowout. I love going to blowouts, man. There's nothing like it. They're the best.
Oh,
no stress. No stress.
It's great. You pretty much watch until you can sing "Go Cubs Go" at the end. That's right. Or it's and like you just said, so choice being at Wrigley Field with only what is it, 10,000 fans? 11,000, whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it sucks because it's like I'd love to be around 40,000 of my friends, but with that said, it's not a bad trade-off. So if anybody's wondering about if they should go to a game or not, the Juice review, totally choice. All for
totally
it.
Choice. All for
make sure you're getting your tickets now. And that's all I'm gonna say, because Lori Lightfoot's gonna let everybody in soon, and it's just gonna be. It's gonna be back to shoulder to shoulder. It's actually an awesome way to watch a baseball game right now. I thought the atmosphere would kind of suck, but 10,000 fans make a lot more noise than you think.
You're right, and I learned that too the first game I went to. So, all right, man. Well, again, this is the official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sports Network. I am Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. You can follow Juice at Juice on Tap because we are branded as fuck, as I said last night. What else does Ron say when he does this?
I don't know. Just pretty much make sure you're going for sports and literature needs over there.
Go follow us at On Tap Sports.
Tip your bartenders, right? He says
that. Go leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to us over on Apple Podcasts.
We should have had Ron call in just to sign us off. I think that would have been hilarious.
He should have just gone to the Slack and just tried to come in like Joe did one time.
Yes. That's exactly what he should have. Just click it and sign us off. That's all we needed was just our Pat Sajak. But Cody did a wonderful job tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Just like the Cubs are 2-0 in their last two, I'm 2-0 in my last two of doing this. So, Juice, have a good day tomorrow. I'll be at Wrigley, section 216. If you're out there, come find me or DM me on Twitter or some shit and try not to be creepy. I'll probably say hello to you. But yeah, let's go sweep the Mets tomorrow.
Get back to 500, right? Be 9-9.
Be 9-9, and undefeated on the week if we win tomorrow. So I love talking on all the good stuff, man. It makes me feel all happy inside. When I wake up tomorrow, people at work and ask me, "How you doing, Cody?" And be like, "Fantastic. The Cubs haven't lost this week."
Yeah, would have been a great streak if it weren't for me on Sunday. Sorry guys, but hey, it is what it is.
Right. All right. Well, let's get out of here the only way we know how. Let's go Cubs.
Let's go Cubs.